Ghost ships of the Great Lakes, legends, mysteries, and maritime echoes. Today, from the city of Thunder Bay, when we look out at Lake Superior and the Sleeping Giant and the region that we live in, you don't think of some of the history of shipping on the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes, and especially Lake Superior, with vast stretches of deep, cold, fresh water and sudden, violent storms, have long been a graveyard for ships and sailors. Over the century, more than 6,000 vessels have been lost beneath the waves, with countless lives claimed in tragic accidents and fierce gales. Among those wrecks, some stories stand out, not merely for the disasters themselves, but for the eerie tales that followed. These are the ghost ships of the Great Lakes, vessels said to haunt the waters long after sinking, appearing as apparitions on foggy nights or reappearing with no crew aboard. Let's look at some of the most legendary. First, the Bannockburn, the Flying Dutchman of the Lake Superior waters. One of the most famous ghost ships on the Great Lakes is the Bannockburn, a Canadian grain freighter that disappeared on Lake Superior in November 1902 during a vicious storm. The ship was last seen by the Algonquin, another steamer, but then vanished without a trace. No distress call was ever sent, and no wreckage was ever found. Soon, sailors began reporting sightings of a phantom freighter matching the ship's description, sailing silently through the mists of Lake Superior. Often seen on stormy nights, the ghostly ship is said to be a warning to mariners of rough weather ahead. Over time, she became known as the Flying Dutchman of the Great Lakes. The Western Reserve and the Ghost Wheelman. In August 1892, the Western Reserve broke apart in a storm on Lake Superior, sinking quickly and killing 31 of the 32 people aboard. The lone survivor, wheelsman Harry Stewart, reported that the ship had simply broke in two mid-voyage. What makes this tragedy so haunting is not only the abrupt loss, but the legend that followed. Sailors on other vessels later reported ghostly sightings of the Western Reserve with one bizarre twist. A spectral figure, believed to be Stewart's phantom, was seen still manning the helm, guiding the broken ship through the fog. The Eerie Board of Trade ghost ship. In the early 1900s, fishermen on Lake Erie told tales of encountering a ghost schooner near Long Point, Ontario. The ship, often seen at twilight, would appear to be sailing normally before vanishing in thin air or slipping silently beneath the waves. Although no exact match was ever made, many believe the vessel to be the long-lost cargo schooner from the 1800s that disappeared in a storm without a trace. To this day, reports occasionally trickle in of a three-masted schooner appearing out of the mist and sailing off into nothingness. The Griffin, LaSalle's lost vessel. Perhaps the oldest Great Lakes ghost ship is Le Griffin, built by French explorer René Robert Cavelier in 1679. It was the first European ship to sail the upper lakes, but after departing Green Bay, loaded with valuable furs, it vanished without a trace. No confirmed wreckage has ever been found despite centuries of searching. Legends persist that the ship still sails the upper Great Lakes, especially Lake Michigan and Lake Huron, appearing briefly before disappearing again into the mists. Some believe she's cursed, as LaSalle himself was later murdered by his own men during a southern expedition. In all of our modern age, why do these legends of ghost ships endure? The Great Lakes are unique amongst inland waterways. Their size, depth, and weather patterns make them as dangerous as any ocean. Add to that the sheer number of vessels lost and the often incomplete records of early shipping, and it's easy to see how these legends were born. Many of the sightings may have rational explanations: misidentified vessels, weather phenomena, or tricks of fog and moonlight. But for those who work the Great Lakes, these stories remain chillingly clear. Whether as metaphors for loss, warnings of danger, or echoes of unresolved tragedy, these ghost ships of the Great Lakes remind us that history is always just beneath the surface, sometimes quite literally. This is James with Net News Ledger. Thanks for listening.